This content journey is not for the weak. Let me explain. Hi, I'm Shay, and I've been on this content creation journey and becoming a content creator since July. And let me tell you, baby, it's been one wild ride. Okay, I began getting really serious about wanting to do content creation. So I'm just like, you know what? Let me take it serious. Let me start with one single platform. Mind you, I'm following all the advice that we get from, our gurus that have made it, that have done it, that are, they're where we want to be, right? And I did all of the things, right? Start with one platform. So my platform of choice was TikTok. And when I tell you, I was doing everything to a T, okay? And I was seeing the results. I was loving the results. My income was starting to jump up a little bit, little by little. I've gotten to the TikTok shop. I was able to build my following up to like 1,000 followers from like 184. I was becoming like a really top quality engager. Like I did all of the things, and I made sure that I posted 5 times a day, like 6 days a week. And I made sure that within those videos that it was my shoppable videos, my shoppable content. Like I did all of the things, right? And I did it well. And I kept doing them. Oh, let me not even get started with live. I was doing so well with live. I was finding so much confidence in doing live shows. And I absolutely loved every single moment of it. And I'm not gonna lie, I miss it, right? However, month 2, done. I was doing that every single day, even after being in church all day on Saturdays, because I keep the Sabbath day. I was dying because I was working every single day. I was on TikTok from sun up to sundown, engaging, posting videos, getting on live. Literally, I got to the point where I started making an actual schedule to what I was going to talk about on lives, how my schedule was going to be, how it was going to change. Saw changes in my little one. I was just like, oh no, this ain't it. It got to the point where I literally was off of live for like 2 weeks. I didn't even get on. I didn't have the energy. I didn't have the passion. I didn't have the fire. I still made sure that I was still doing my posts every single day, right? My 5 posts. And I was reminding my followers to also do that every day. Why? Because the guru said to do this. This is how we become successful. This is how we get to that bag, right? Hustle culture. I died. Like I literally burnt out second month. And I was like, this ain't it. This is not it. This is not sustainable. This is not the way I want to live my life. Having to be on social media every single day, thinking about what type of videos I'm going to make. What do I want to talk about? Because that's literally what I was doing. I'm like, what am I going to make today? What am I going to talk about on live today? What should I talk about on live today? Let me go ahead into the creator search insights and see what are we talking about. Let me go ahead and niche down even more to figure out what it is that I can talk about. I was doing it all, y'all. It was like I was doing the copy and paste workbook of what it would take to build an online following as a content creator. And I was done. It's not sustainable to put yourself in a position to where you are on your phone or a computer creating content every single day, doing multiple videos every single day, editing videos every single day, thinking of scripts every single day, trying to do posts, pictures, carousels, thoughts, quotes, stories every single day, short form, long form, every day. I was stressed, y'all. I was stressed because I'm like this, I couldn't take it. I'm like, this is not something that is feasible and that is doable, which allowed me to really take a step back and say, what kind of creator do I actually want to be? How can I pursue being a content creator and still have a life? How can I pursue creating content and still be human? How can I create content and not put myself in a position to where I'm so tired that I don't want to do what I'm doing anymore, and I don't have the passion to do it anymore. I'm falling out of love with my craft, and ma'am, doing things via hustle culture, trying to do everything via hustle culture or how it's been taught or in a fast place is literally not feasible. Some of the advice that I was getting and receiving and watching just from the search bar that we have to search and look up to view other creators' videos to engage with, it was just like the advice was the same. And this was the turning point for me as a content creator. The advice was the same. But then you read the comments of other small creators like myself, and they're just like, I'm so confused. I don't know what to do. What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to say? How am I supposed to say this? Like, what type of content am I supposed to actually be creating? And the advice is not the same. Everyone is asking us to do a whole different thing. Like, who do we trust? Who do we trust? Like, how do we know what's true? And then they do the hacks, and they're like, but they're not even working. They're not working. And I grew frustrated because I was doing it too. And I got burnt out and tired. I was like, I can't do this because I'm not living. I'm literally waking up on TikTok, going to sleep on TikTok, waking up like literally. And I'm like, this ain't good. So I had to really sit down with myself and think about, what is it that I'm actually doing? What do I want to do? What type of creator do I want to be? And I had to sit with that. And so there would be moments when I wasn't online or I wasn't really posted because I'm really trying to figure out how I want to build out my brand, Intentional by Shay. What do I want this to be? What do I want this to become? What's the plan in 5 years, 10 years? Like, what do I want this to be a brand? What exactly, what do I want to do? What do I want to talk about? How do I do this? And asking those particular questions led me down a rabbit hole of trying to create sustainable content, strategies, mindful marketing, authentic marketing, and being able to create content that's evergreen. I learned so much just by researching and trying to understand the pain points that I was going through, but that my target audience was going through. So I had to change my target audience. I had to change what my branding was, my voice was, like everything. And so like, even with my podcast, you can actually hear my transitions because they're changing. I'm ever changing, ever evolving. And it was just like, I was really trying to find my voice. Right. And I think that's where a lot of us struggle as small content creators is trying to figure out, what is our voice? What's the message that we actually want to say and what we want to talk about? And when we have multiple things that we love and multiple things that we're passionate about, we can't necessarily want to niche down or pinpoint exactly what that is, or not being able to talk about that. And then niching down it feels like it's become so taboo in social media culture to me, because it's just like, anytime anybody says, anytime anyone mentions the word niche, it's like they shut down. But niching down shouldn't feel like that. It's being able to, I'll say this, what niching down has done for me was allow me to really clarify my message, clarify who it is that I'm speaking to, who my focus is on, right? And so when I did that, I was able to come up with Intentional by Shay and wanting to share different tips, tricks, and ways to be able to overcome the burnout and being able to create content in a mindful way that is sustainable, that will allow you to grow from a creator's point of view. Now, I've been doing that. I've been building that out for these last couple of months. It's now November. I've been doing this since January. So I burnt out, I want to say, in September. So since September, I've really been trying to figure out what my strategy, what my purpose is. Like, how do I want to really fulfill my role as a content creator and what it is that I'm actually going to give back to my audience, and figuring out what do I want that to be and how do I want myself to stand out. And so I really zeroed in and focused on sustainable marketing, authentic marketing, and being mindful of that, because I don't like to be stressed. I don't like to be on fight or flight mode. I don't like none of these things. And we shouldn't have to be when it comes to creating content. Creating content should be something that we enjoy. Building a brand of the things that we love, whether it's travel, fashion, food, tech, no matter what that is, we should be able to do that and love what we're doing and not fall in love. Now, if we're falling out of love with it for other reasons outside of hustle culture, that's understandable. But when we're always in that hustle, that grind mode, we gotta know when to turn it off. We have to know when to turn it off, because not every brand is made equal, and not everything is necessary for us to build a brand. Not all advice is created equal. Like, sometimes I would be listening to the advice and it would literally just be like, post 5 times a day. Okay, well, this is what you want to post these trends, right? But how does these trends really identify with my target audience? How do these posts and reels, how do they identify with my target audience? How do I know who I'm supposed to even be talking to? Like, I wasn't finding that. And I decided to be that. I decided to be that creator who would create content surrounding the things that I didn't see, that I longed to see as a creator. I wish somebody would have taught me how to be able to speak to my audience. Who is my audience? How do I know what pillars I want to talk about? So on and so forth. And once again, I made several shifts throughout this process. And I've come to the place where now it's just like, it's not just content creation for me. It's actually brand strategy. Because one thing that I can say for sure that I'm passionate about is sustainability and building a brand that lasts, and building something that you can look back on and be proud of, something that really changed you and it ignited your flame and your passion and your desire for entrepreneurship and to pursue your goals and your dreams. But do it in a way that works for you. Do it in a way that works for your schedule. Do it in a way that works for your lifestyle. And all of those things, it resulted in brand strategy, which is why I am doing a whole upscale, not necessarily an upscale, but just tweaking my language, tweaking my brand a little bit. So now it's not just Intentional by Shay, but it's Intentional by Shay, the growth blueprint. Because the growth blueprint is what I'll be using. It's the foundation of what mindful growth is as a creator, what it means to understand your brand voice, what it means to understand your target audience. It's literally understanding your core foundation of who you are as a creator and where you see yourself going. And that is what I'll be teaching through the growth blueprint as your brand strategist for small content creators and nano influencers like myself. The best part about it is that I'm also going through it. Like, as I'm walking through this, I'm sharing with you what it is that I'm going through. And that's what you'll see in my podcast, my blog, intentionalbyshay.com. You'll see it in my newsletter, the Mindful Growth letter. You'll see it in all of my posts. Like, you will see the transformation and how it changed and how my confidence has changed with being able to speak, to building a brand that actually lasts and means something. You know, it's understanding how we must do things with intention, because without intention, what are we really doing things for? Why are we doing this? What is our purpose in doing this if we're not going to be intentional about it and doing it in a way that's truly going to work for us, that is going to fulfill us? And if you're a mom like me, even as a mom, how are we going to be able to make this adjust with us being full-time moms? And mind you, it's like 2:53 in the morning right now as I am recording this. So my baby is asleep. So I have to make these types of adjustments to be able to fulfill this role. And it's learning how to adjust with that and finding things that actually work for you, not just blanketed advice that's going to allow for you to get from point A to point B, but not really give you the in-depth that you need, right? No hustle culture. Okay, no scammy Tammies, no hey girl, hey in your DMs, none of that. None of that. Because I can't get jiggy with that either. I'm building Intentional by Shay to be exactly that, intentional, to really learn how to build a community, to build real life connections with people. Because at the end of the day, you may have 1 million followers or what have you, but how many of those 1 million followers actually interact with your content? Not much. I would rather have 1,000 people who interact with my content every day, who know me, enjoy my content, actually comment, actually give feedback. You know, just as I pour into them, they pour into me too. I would rather have that than to have over 1 million followers that do none of that. It's just a number. And when we are doing sustainable marketing and building a brand that lasts, yes, numbers matter, but we don't need to be so obsessive over them to the point where it's like it literally stresses us out. So if what we're doing as content creators is stressing us out, we need to stop. We need to pause. We need to recollect ourselves and really re-examine what it is that we're doing and how we can make it more sustainable to fit our life. Not the algorithm's life, okay? We're not trying to fit into the algorithm way, but we need to fit this into our life and make it work for our schedule, our time. So that way we are not being burnt out, overworked, overused, underutilized, whatever you want to call it. But not turn this into another thing that we start and keep trying to restart again. And then it never gets anywhere. And that's the purpose of me making these transitions and making these changes and really, really digging deep and finding what it is that I want to do and how I want to do it, which is how the growth blueprint was born. And I'm so excited to continue on this journey, to share this with you all and to actually give you the strategies that have helped me, that are helping me, and that has allowed for me to actually really break down my processing of how I figured out what type of creator that I want to be, what type of content I want to be, what is my voice, what's my signature style, what is my signature structure of how I do my captions, my podcast, my everything. And then trying to make sure that I'm not coming from a guru or authoritative type of place, because I'm going through this with you. I'm going through this with you. I'm struggling through this with you. And through my struggles, I definitely am going to share what I did to actually get out of those struggles and actually utilize them as victories and triumphs instead. So with all that being said, welcome to the Growth Blueprint. I'm your brand strategist, Shay, and I help small content creators and nano influencers build a brand that feels more like themselves and not based off of someone else's beliefs, someone else's rules. Nothing but you all the way through. And I can't wait to continue to share more with you guys. So please, 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 if you haven't done so already, subscribe, follow, share this to another content creator that needs to hear this or that is looking for a way to overcome the burnout. Follow me on all socials. You can find me under Intentional by Shay, of course. You can find me here on YouTube under Intentional by Shay, and my podcast Intentional by Shay, the Growth Blueprint, is everywhere. So YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, main ones. You can find me there, easy peasy. And make sure you are following along through the blog at intentionalbyshay.com, and make sure you sign up for the Mindful Growth Letter, also at intentionalbyshay.com. I'm looking forward to this transition and being able to be that voice, that go-to person for you guys to find a way that is sustainable and that truly works for you to continue to allow you to love what it is that you're doing. So stay tuned and keep on trying. Don't give up on your journey, because your journey is just getting started.